Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss a poem namely The Tiger written by William Blake. Now William Blake belongs to the pre-romantic or transitional period, but the nature of his poems show that he is a genuine romantic poet. The features of the romantic poems and the features of Blake's poems are almost same. That's why A.C. Swinburne had said the school of poetry, which is registered as Wordsworthian, was actually initiated by Blake in the midnight and fortified by Wordsworth at dawn. Obviously, Blake is a romantic poet without any doubt. Now, as a social reformer, Blake wrote two volumes of poems, namely Songs of Innocence and Experiences. The poems of Songs of Innocence volume have counterparts in the poems of Songs of Experience. Now, this poem, The Tiger, has the counterpart poem, namely Lamb, which has been included in the Songs of Innocence group. And now this poem, The Tiger, has been placed in the volume, namely Songs of Experience. Now, in this poem, the poet wants to project the wonderful and awe-inspiring appearance of a tiger, which has been created by our Almighty. With the help of these two poems, Lamb and the Tiger, Blake wants to show the range of God's creativity, the caliber of gods. The God who can create lamb can also create tiger. And he believes without contraries there is no progression. To keep balance in this universe, innocence is required and side by side experience is also required. Without opposites, we don't have the taste. That's why the same God has created lamb and the tiger. The innocent, meek, humble lamb is directly contrast to the terrifying, wonderful, awe-inspiring, fearful tiger. Right? So, let's see the poem, The Tiger. Look at the headline, the peculiar meaning, spelling. The peculiar spelling in the title words, actually Tiger, but Blake deliberately uses Tiger. Actually, he wants to emphasize on the vowel sound. And significantly enough, this tiger is not the natural tiger of the natural forest. This tiger is obviously Blake's mental tiger. Blake wants to show that his tiger is different from that natural tiger. And it is Blake's intention. Better to say, this tiger is Blake's own creation. Right? So, tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. When the tiger appears, then the people are terrified. In the very beginning of the poem, Blake employs the tone that a tiger has entered. As the tiger has entered, and the tiger looks bright, and the tiger seems to be burning. Look at the juxtaposition of the words. to enhance the terrifying condition, to enhance the fear-striking, awe-inspiring situation in the forest of the night. Now, forest is fearful place, plus the forest of night is much more fearful. So the words burning, bright, forest and night will enhance the terrifying condition, the fearful condition of the tiger. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? The tiger has been created with symmetry. Side by side, the element of fearfulness has been installed in the poem, in the tiger. That's why the tiger is said to be fearful symmetry. And this type of phrase is said to be oxymoronic. And it is the thought of the romantic writers to use such oxymoronic phrase. Got it? So, the poet or the speaker of the poem is being surprised at the dauntless approach of the maker. If the tiger is such a dangerous, then the maker must be much more dangerous. The maker must be much more dangerous. His hands and eye, etc., must be much more dangerous. In the second stanza, Blake tries to locate the source of the fire which has been used to manufacture the tiger. What does the text say? Text say, in what distant deeps or skies, deeps, ocean, skies, sky, burn the fire of thine eyes. The question is obviously to the tiger, what can be the source of the fire of your eyes? The source may be depth of ocean, or source may be sky. On hot wings dare he aspire. Got it? This line bears an allusion. According to the classical mythology, Prometheus went to steal the fire from the heaven for the betterment of the earth. But he is detected and arrested and imprisoned in a rock. And the vultures were set upon him so that his body can be torn off by the vultures. Now, the poet uses this allusion to show that the manufacturer, the maker of the tiger, must have experienced the intolerable heat and warmth of the fire while taking the fire from the source for the purpose of manufacturing the tiger. What the hand dare seize the fire? Each and every limb of the maker is dauntless. His hand, if the hand is not dauntless, then how can it catch the fire? The dangerous fire for the dangerous tiger? And what shoulder, what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? Of course, shoulder refers to prowess, physical strength, and art refers to artifact. The manufacturer, the god, has enough physical strength, and his art of creation is of course excellent, beyond any question. So with the help of shoulder and art, the maker could twist the sinews of the tiger's heart. And when thy heart began to wait, hot dread hand and hot dread feet, hand and feet are, of course, of tigers, of tiger. The maker is fearful, dauntless, and his production is fearful and dauntless. The dreadful figure of the tiger is hinted at. Hold the hammer, hold the chain. In what furnace was thy brain? Blake was a little bit adverse to the industrialism in England. The industrialism spoiled the environment, it spoiled the innocence of the people, it brought the unspeakable sufferings to the poor people of the society. That's why many sensible writers, humanitarian writers, specifically the romantic writers, spoke against this industrialism. These elements, of course, hammer and chain, furnace, all are related to the industrialism. And of course, here the poet says that the hammer, chain and furnace, etc., were used by the god to make the tiger. And the hammer must be strong enough, and the chain must be strong enough, and furnace must be effective. Meaning, when you are going to make some strong or powerful thing, then the elements, equipments must be strong enough. What the anvil? Yes, anvil is the block of the iron on which the blacksmiths strike on the iron. Obviously, you have seen the shop of the blacksmith and you have seen the anvil. What dread grasp? Dare its deadly terrors clasp. Yeah, the grasp, the clutching, the clutch of the maker is very strong enough. Otherwise, how could he grasp it? When the stars threw down their spears, again allusion. The stars symbolically refer to the fallen angels who dared to fight against God but experienced unspeakable defeat and sufferings. When they saw the tiger, when they saw the creation of the God, on looking on the tiger and its terrifying condition, terrifying appearance, the fallen angels understood the actual power of the Almighty. That's why they started to weep and they just dropped their weapons and watered heaven with their tears, and they started to weep. They started to flood the heaven with their tears, and they realized the God's range of creativity. Did he smile his walk to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Of course, the poet interrogates the tiger itself, whether the maker got satisfied or not, by observing the full-fledged appearance of the tiger. And again he asks whether the maker of the tiger and the maker of the black can be the same creator, same maker. Now look at the questions. So many questions are there. I have already told you the maker, name of the maker, God, but I have told you on my accord. Actually, the poet yet has not told you the name of the maker. Right? In the final stanza, he will confirm it. Now the questions, the mystery, look at the mystery of the poem. So many questions are there. He does not know the answer. He at least pretends not to know the answer. But in the final stanza, we will see that the repetition of this first stanza, only the word could has been replaced by dare. It means the poet did not have the confidence that the Almighty is the maker of the tiger. But at the end of the stanza, after these successive questions, series of questions, his faith, his belief is established that none but Almighty can create such a tiger who is much more tiger. He is much more than tiger. Got it? So, past and last stanza only, the could of past stanza is replaced by dare of the last stanza. It means in the first stanza the poet's confidence was not in the God, and in the last stanza he is sanguine that God is the creator of the tiger. Hope you have understood well. Thank you. Thank you very much.